designs, and that's Maddie B Design Studio, and we're going to use one of those designs today. This is from my shop. This is a new Valentine design, and this is what we're going to work on today. I printed it out as a full sheet. If you're not familiar with digitals, girls, when you learn how to print your own projects, when you learn how to do things and print your own, it opens up a whole new world to you when you can print your own. You know, when you can buy digitals and print them. When you buy this digital for $3.99, you can print it in any size you want, you know, from full page to 5x7, 4x6, all the way down to the little bitty sizes. I print some things. I have some, working on some tea kettles here, and see how tiny these roosters are? You can print all the way down to that size. And my shop has over 600 designs in the shop. If you've not visited there, please go by and visit. Got a sale going on right now, and I think it ends today. It either ends tonight or tomorrow night. Okay? This Valentine's is, you know, Valentine's is the quickest holiday we have. After Christmas, you've only got about a month, you know, to get ready for Valentine's Day, and then it moves right on. But I've got some real pretty ones in there with kids on them like this, so if you can go over and look at them. Okay, right now they're all, if you buy 10, they're 30% off, something like that. You'll see that in the shop. The name of the shop, Susan, is MaddieBDesigns.etsy.com. I put a link in here. There should be a link at the top of the page. And if not, I'll put it in when we get done. We'll post it. Thank you, Mary Ann. I'm all gray. I colored my hair. For 40 years I colored my hair, and when COVID hit, we couldn't go to the beauty shop no more, couldn't go to the hairdresser, so I decided to just let it grow. And I've been happy with it. I wish I'd done it years ago. Coloring your hair is a pain in the butt when you have to do it all the time. But I did it for years and years and years, and I originally was very dark-headed, and then for years I was redhead, and I wore it red. Okay, this little tray I think come from the Dollar Tree. I've had them for a long time, and I just pulled it out of my stash. Don't have the thing on it, but I'm sure it came from the Dollar Tree. It's just a little aluminum, you know, little metal tray. And I had my son works in my wood shop. My husband and I, we've had a wood shop, and he's no longer able to work in it. So my son does wood things for me and works in the wood shop. So I had him drill me some holes in these. I wanted to put a hanger on it, but I didn't want to have to glue one on the back. So I had him just drill 2 little holes up here in the top of these pans. Got some of these ovals, and I got some square ones. And then I just put a ribbon through there, and I put a loop on the back of it. So when I decoupage, that will cover up. I'll cover that up completely. And then you got a hanger to hang it on, or you can set it on an easel. Okay, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Okay, you girls are getting me frustrated, getting me off of the subject. Okay, I'm going to position this in here. This is about the easiest thing you can do. If you've got a piece that your whole paper covers, it's, you know, it's very, very simple to do. And this is printed on rice paper. You can buy rice paper from Amazon. I buy my rice paper from Amazon, and the one that I use, I like really well. It's real transparent, as you can see through it, and that's what I like. But the one I use, you have to cut it to fit your machine. And I'm not sure if there's a link on my page here. I have it in my private group. We have a private group where we, you know, work and do things, and I give designs out in that private group. Those girls have got we've been open not quite a year, and there's a little over 40 of us, and I give them designs all the time. So it's $21 a month. If you're interested in joining that or coming along with us, you can go to vintagetoschic.com, and you'll find that information to sign up for the classes in there. Okay, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down, position it where I want it, and then I'm just going to take my fingernail. I've got it, you know, kind of equal on both sides. This little girl and boy is large. I could have cut them down to size a little bit, but I decided just to do. So I'm going to go right in the groove of the tray and take my thumbnail and go all the way around with that, so I will know where to cut my paper off. This will give me an indentation in the paper and give me a guideline to go by. Now the top where I've got that ribbon is going to be a little iffy, but I'm going to put a bow up there, so that will cover that. That'll take care of that. And I want to get it enough of an indentation in there to see, so I'm going around it a couple of times. Okay. Do I use an inkjet? You can use both, Mary Lou. I use the prints I sell, the ones that I print to sell. I will print for you. I don't have my shop completely opened up to printing because I don't have a commercial printer, and I can't handle a shop. I'm too old to start a new business and go with a commercial printer and buy all that stuff. Don't want to do that anymore. You know, I don't, that's not, if I was young, I would jump on it, but I'm not. So I use a laser printer for the prints that I mail out, the print on rice paper, and I use a laser printer. If I'm printing for myself, sometimes I use my inkjet. I've got about 5 printers in my house, so I use, you know, all different kinds for different things, but I've got 2 laser printers that I use for designs that I'm going to ship out and sell. But if you print them on an inkjet, you just have to go by trial and error. You just have to give it a try. And usually most all inkjets, you know, work okay. And if you have a problem, I spray mine after you print it, spray it with a little bit of cheap hairspray. And I use Rave. If you're old as me, or, you know, then you know what Rave hairspray is. It's just a cheap hairspray. So you can spray it with that hairspray a little bit, just mist it, and then just lay it aside for a few hours before you use it. And that'll keep it from running on you. Hey, from England, Susan, glad to have you. So, and but a laser printer, you don't have to do that. But printers are, a lot of them are iffy. I have some that the paper will slide right through, and I have some that hangs up, and then, you know, it just, it's so iffy. It's why I don't print all the time. If I, like I said, if I was going to go into business of printing and print everything I have in the Etsy shop, then I would have to go with a commercial printer, and I don't want to spend $10,000 on a printer as old as I am, you know, or get into the commercial printing business. I don't want to do that. So I sell them as digitals. And like I said, you can print your own, print it on your inkjet if that's what you have, and give it a try. There's nothing like a try. Some people have inkjets, and people ask me which one's the best. I can't tell you that either. I can't tell you. Aquanet is another good hairspray. You're older than me. No, I know what Aquanet is too, Linda. But I done forgot what I was going to say. You never know until you try, you know, if it's going to work or not. But now it does open up so many more things for you when you can print what you want to do. Because you can, like I said, you can buy that one print and you buy it in a large size, and then you can take it down to any size you want and put it on anything you want. The only thing with my prints is you can, you know, you can make anything you sell. If you have a business and you're selling things, you can use my prints to make anything you sell. But you can't sell the digital. You know, you can't use the digital and sell the digital print. But you can put it on anything. Some high-tech stuff, but I'm getting up there. I'm 60 and I want some high-tech stuff. Well, Susan, I'm quite a bit older than you. So, but I have learned a lot of high-tech stuff in my time. Like I said, I've been in the craft business, girls, for about 50 years. So I've done it all. You know, from I owned a shop for 12 years. I owned a craft shop, and I've done a little bit of everything. And I love what I do. I always say I love what I do and call it work. It's nice to be able to make a living and make money with something that you enjoy so much. And I'm trying to find me a brush here, one for my decoupage that's a little bit wider, but I don't want to use a new one. Guess I'm going to try this one. See where I got it. I don't know where my brush is at. Okay, I've got my paper on there. Just got it on the thing. And now I'm going to put my Mod Podge on there. And I do use Mod Podge just out of the jug. I buy it by the gallon, but I put a little water in it. It's way too thick. When you buy it in the jar, it's way too thick. And I water it down, and a gallon lasts me, I'm on 2 years on 1 gallon. So you can see how much you use. And if you thin it down a little bit, it goes on just as nice, and it works fine for me, so there's no use in changing what's good for you already, okay? But I do put it in a small container. I never work out of that big thing. People buy it in containers about like this. Every time you dip your brush down in that Mod Podge, you're contaminating it, because you've got to brush and in and out and in and out. So I buy these little cups from the Dollar Tree, and I put my glue in this little cup, and that's about a cupful of glue. To about a cup of glue, I add a tablespoon or so of water. And if it gets thick on me, then I put a little more water in it. But I always thin it down a little bit. It takes very little to glue something down. A lot of people have trouble, especially with napkins, have trouble of putting too much on there. I'm putting just a little bit of glue down underneath there. Yesterday evening we worked with metallics. If you all seen that, I am loving the metallic paints. Been working with them now for the last few weeks, and I'm loving that. But being in here, like I said, you have to watch the time when you're working with the group. I posted at the top, the lady coming up after me is Secondhand Treasures, is who you will see next. If you're not a member of Craft Around the Clock, you should be, because you can watch presenters all day long. I'm just taking, if you notice, I put it halfway down, just halfway. And then I'm just taking my hands and pressing that down in there to get all the wrinkles out. I don't want to put that glue on the whole piece all the time, because that makes it hard to get your wrinkles out. And with napkins, it's a whole lot harder to get things in and have, not have wrinkles in them. You have to be more careful. With rice paper, it's a lot more forgiving than napkins, and you can do so much more with it. I work with napkins too sometimes. I have favorite ones that I do, so I do both. And I paint. I've painted for 50 years, so. Okay. I try to keep up with your comments, but if I can't, I always go back when I'm done, read the comments, and then I'll know what you put in and answer you if you need me to answer something. Miss Tracy does a great job with Craft Around the Clock. And, you can go in there when you're bored. You can always find a video in there, to watch. You can always find somebody in there to watch. And I've always told my girls, and I'll tell you new people, watch everybody you get a chance. If you've got the time, and you're learning, especially if you're new and you're learning, watch everybody, because everybody that you watch from, that you watch their videos or watch their crafting, you'll learn a little something from everybody. You'll learn a little from this lady and a little from this one, and right on down the line, until eventually you've worked it into what is yours, and it becomes your style. You probably can hear my great-granddaughter is visiting, and I hear her crying. So, her mother had to do some things today, and she's over here visiting with us for a while. Okay, now I've got it in there, and I'm going to put a top coat on it. I'm going to put a thin coat over top of the whole thing. That's a small brush to be fooling with. One thin coat over the top. Okay. I love learning new things. So do I, Tammy. The beginning of the year is always a new beginning for me. People always say, oh, I hate wintertime. It's, get depressed and it's boring. Not me. When the season ends, when Christmas ends, I'm raring to go to learn something new or, get things organized and back to things. I've always got 10 million things planned to do. And right now I'm learning, I want to learn, this is my year to learn the clay stuff. I've worked with clay, and for years I did sculpted clay and did Christmas ornaments with Sculpey. And I did those and sold them in the shows for a couple of years. But the air-dried clay and the way it's used with decoupage, I had never done that until just recently. So I've been buying stock and buying merchandise and getting ready, and I'm doing some, some things with clay now. And that's my goal this year, is to work till I'm satisfied with what I've learned with the clay stuff. Okay, see, I've got it all on there now. Now we're going to decorate the edges a little bit. That's a cute print. Yes, it is, Sheila, it is. These are real. I like the little kids. I like the ones with the little kids. Makes you happy. Little boy and little girl. She's got a rose there. Just give her a rose. Wouldn't it be nice to be young again? If I could do it all over, though, I wouldn't change a thing. Wouldn't change a thing. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, girls. Okay, I'm going to see now. That's all the Mod Podge. That's all the gluing I have to do. So we're going to decide on a color now for the trim work. And I think I'm going to go with this one is called Raspberry. I don't know if I want to go that dark or something a little lighter. I thought I'd put a mauve or a color around here and then put some dots in it. Let's try this one. This one is Blush Pink. Wonder if I've got one open. Let's see what this one looks like. We can always cover it over with a darker color. I wouldn't either, Susan. I wouldn't change a thing. My husband and I have been married 54 years, was 54 years in December, and I wouldn't change a thing. The only thing is, I lost my daughter at a young age, so I wouldn't want to live that again. But other than that, my life has been, I've been very, very pleased. Very blessed. Okay. Okay, that's a real pretty pink. And I'm going to start right here and take it around this tray. Probably have to put 2 coats on it. Most of the time you do. Make sure my brush is not. Come all the way around with that. Hey, Miss Faye, how are you? Thank you, Tammy. Nothing worse than losing a child, ladies. Nothing. I have all girls. I have 3 granddaughters and a great-granddaughter. So I have a house full of girls. Hope everybody has had a great New Year's and a good Christmas. Faye, I've been really well. I hope you have been too. We've been really lucky this winter to not be. After I come out of the Gatlinburg show, I got a really bad cold. The morning after I closed out there, I got up sick the next morning, and I thought, oh Lord, I picked up the big C, being out in that crowd, and all. But I didn't. I just had a really bad head cold for a few days. But other than that, and my kids, my husband, we've been real lucky this winter to not catch none of that. There's so much stuff going around. It's so hard to stay away from. All the new sicknesses and the new things is crazy. Okay. I'm going to paint that edge a different color. Use a metallic or a gold trim on it, so I'm trying to not get my pink up on that edge. Okay. I got the stomach flu right now. Oh Lord. It can be. There's just so many, so much sickness. And if you have to go to the doctor, you're more afraid to go to the doctor than you are to not go, because so many people are sick. And if you don't have it and you're going in there, then you're liable to come out with it. So many people been sick. I had one friend here, she had COVID, and she had COVID and pneumonia all at the same time. Spent 3 weeks in the hospital. We have grandkids and have 8 grandkids, 3 grandsons. Oh, I only had 2 children. My daughter had 1 child and my son has 2. So we've only got 3 grandchildren. Grandkids are a blessing, or, you know. Okay. We have friends celebrating. Oh, gosh, 80th anniversary. Oh, my gosh, can you imagine that? An 80th, that God has blessed them to no end. I hope they are still able to celebrate. Anybody that lives, you know, that's a blessing. God lets you, you know, if you're able to get around and stuff and live to the old age, then you know, that's a real blessing. I believe you have to keep yourself busy. The more you do, the better off you stay. Okay, I'm going to have 2 coats on that. So I've got 1 on there. And I'm going to jump up, have my one and only auntie. Oh, gosh, you have an auntie that's 102. I had an aunt that lived to be 100. She lived to be like 100 years and 3 months, I believe it was. And she could tell you stories. We went for her 100th birthday. And she quilted, her last quilt between 99 and 100. She was still quilting. But, oh, I used to love to visit her because she could tell you stories. They lived in West Virginia, and they had rode the river, you know, when they moved from one city to the other. She taught school. She was a school teacher. And they rode a barge, you know, moved on a barge. It was just, her stories were so amazing when she'd said that the kids loved to go. We loved to go visit her and hear her stories about her life. She's been dead for many years. Okay, now I'm going to go down to a smaller brush. And I think I'm going to put some, me some metallic. Let's see what we've got here in the metallic that will match that. I'm going to use a little bit of gold, but I'm going to mix it. When you use the metallic colors, girls, if you're a follower of mine, when you use the metallic colors, they are transparent, so you have to mix them. You either have to put a coat of paint underneath them. I don't want to get very bright with that, so I don't know if I want to do that or just put some gold on it. I think I'll just put some gold on there. Lord, to be that old and to have a mind, still have your mind and stuff, is a very much of a blessing. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and use the liquid gold on it. I've got it already out here. I need to shake it up a little bit. I hope I don't spill it. That's a disaster if you spill it. And I have found that if you're using liquid gold, since the brushes, you know, it's an oil-based stuff, and I have found that if I keep my brushes in vegetable oil like this, I have some vegetable, this one needs to be changed, but I have a little jar with vegetable oil in it from my kitchen, and I keep my brushes that I use the gold with down in that vegetable oil when I'm not using them. It keeps those brushes soft. All I have to do is pull it up out of there, clean it on my towel, or squeeze it out on my rag, just on the cloth. I always keep a cloth in my lap. And yes, it is stinky, Faye. I always keep a cloth. But if you just keep that brush in that oil, in that vegetable oil, and then take it out, it's soft and it's ready to use again. You can go right ahead and use it. Don't have to take it to the kitchen and clean it. I used to do that and then take them, clean them. But I thought, I'm going to try that and see if it works, and it does. So I'm going to put a little bit of this in my lid because I don't want to spill it, and I don't want to stick my brush way down in that bottle. So I'm just going to put a little bit out in my lid, and I'm going to go around this edge with the gold. Okay. Then I'll go back, when I get that gold on, I'll go back and put another coat in that pink. If you use a good flat brush with a good edge on it, then you can make that edge do the work, the edge of that brush do the work for you. And you can keep your lines straight. If you just pull that brush around there and let the edge do that edge of the thing for you, you'll have a good straight line in there. And a lot easier to cover. See, now that is really pretty on there. So I'm going to go all the way around that with the gold. Valentine, like I said, we don't have many days to decorate for Valentine. But, gosh, I went to Hobby Lobby. I live close to Hobby Lobby, and I went to Hobby Lobby this week. They had everything Valentine out. They had aisles and aisles of Valentine decorations. All kinds of things. A lot of stuff for tiered trays. Now that's, a lot of people decorate their kitchen. I used to do that, and then I got away from it. Change it out for the season with a tiered tray in the kitchen. So they had a lot of neat little things. And now they've Hobby Lobby, now their stuff comes in at 40% off. So that just goes to tell you how high their prices are, because they start their prices at 40% off. I went to see if they had any Christmas left, because they had Christmas marked down 75%, but not really anything that I needed. I bought a couple of things for my granddaughter. When you're young and building your inventory for Christmas decorations, you're always looking for stuff. Need to get out and see what all is out. It's the way. Is the tray from Dollar Tree? Yes, I believe it is. Lily, I've had it a long time, but I'm almost sure it came from Dollar Tree, because it's just one of those little cheapy. You could get them in ovals, and you could get them in an oblong shape. I have some oblong ones. And I just painted it white. And I use spray paint, girls. I spray paint. I like a smooth finish to work on. And I use Rust-Oleum's 2-in-1 spray and a matte finish. And I just take them outside and spray them. And I'll spray a whole bunch of stuff. I'll spend a day spraying things. And then I just put them away. And then when I need them, they're already painted white and ready to go. I don't like to use chalk paint, and I want a smooth finish, and the spray paint gives you a smoother finish. But you do have to learn, if you spray too heavy at one time, it'll drip on you, so you kind of have to learn the knack of spraying. And in the wintertime, I'll go outside and spray real quick because it's cold. Then I have a place. Usually I'm in my back porch. I go to my back porch, and which is right out my laundry room. And I will spray something, and then I'll bring it back in and set it in my laundry room to dry, because you can't leave things outside in the winter. And so I'll spray a few things at one time. I'm trying to do tea kettles now and catch up in my shop. I sell a lot of tea kettles, and I'm down, so this week I've been working on roosters. Roosters and gingerbread. I've done some gingerbread tea kettles this week. That gold is so pretty, and it dries quick, so you can get around there real quick. I think this come from Hobby Lobby. You can get the gold. You can get it on Amazon, the liquid gold, so lots of different places. I'm a newbie from West Texas. Lots of people from all over. I just don't want to live in a place. We're supposed to, with the really bad cold weather, we've got a possibility of snow this weekend, and I don't look forward to that. It's cold here, but it's not so cold that you can't, it's okay. You can still get out, and of the day when the sun's out, it's nice. I'm going right around the tray. You got plenty of time, so you have to choose something for your sharing with them. And here, just got 45 minutes. You have to be careful what you choose. I'm so bad to do something that takes me longer, or last time I think I was on here, I run over my time, and I didn't really mean to, but I did. Before I knew it, my time was gone, and I was still on there. So a lot of new presenters on Craft Around the Clock. She does a great job with keeping that group up and running and in good shape. You can get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you can find somebody on the replay, and I think they start at about 6 o'clock in the morning. The new presenters every day starts real early in the morning. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sound asleep. Okay, last night we had freezing rain. Oh, I don't want that either. I don't. It's been a few years since we had bad storms, Christmas storms, 2 or 3 years ago, and got snow and ice on Christmas Day, and it was bad. We've not had any really bad times of losing power much here, which I'm grateful for. I hear the baby again. She don't get her way, she's crying. She's 4 years old. She come in my house a little while ago, and she was coming over. Her mom brought her over. They had to make a run up to the hospital, and her mom and dad brought her over, and she came in my front door, and I've got a throw rug at the front door. She said, "Oh, Mama, I just love this pretty towel you got on the floor." Oh. She's 4 and talks. She can carry on a conversation with anybody. Almost got it. I run out of things to talk about, girls. Thank you, Mary. It is pretty. And it's simple. It's not hard to do. Little projects like this. If you're doing craft shows, girls, if you're selling and you're doing craft shows, which I done craft shows for 40 years, and this past October I did the Gatlinburg Craftsman's Fair. I've been in it for over 35 years, close to 40 years. And then I hadn't done it since COVID, so this year I went back. And if you're doing craft shows, little things like this is what makes your money. Because if you got things that you can sell for less than $20, then that makes your booth fee and pays your expenses and stuff. And your more expensive things, they'll sell. You want some really nice pieces in your booth too, because somebody will come along. But everybody that comes in that show, and especially like Gatlinburg, they pay $10 to get in there. If they come in there and spend $10 to get in, they're coming in to buy something. And they may person might come in and they say, well, I'm going to spend, I've got $50, I've got $100, or whatever they've got to spend today, and what they're looking for in that show. Well, they might come by your booth and like what you do, but they don't want to spend all their money on one item, but they may buy, if they've got $50, they may buy 4 or $10 items, because they can spread them out. So if you've got things in your booth that are less than $20, that's your money makers. That's what pays your booth fee, pays your rent, pays your expenses, are those $10 to $20 items. Okay, now I'm going to drop my brush right back down in the vegetable oil, and I'm going to go back to my other one and put another coat on my pink. And that is pretty. That gold showed up real pretty. See there? but I need another color in there. I need another coat of pink. I'll come right back in and go around again. I might have time to varnish this and put some beads on it. I varnish everything I do, girls. It's sealed. The Mod Podge is glue and a sealer, but your piece needs to be varnished for protection. And I either use the spray, which is a Rust-Oleum spray in the shiny finish, the gloss. I either use that. Most pieces like this I would spray. Or I use a brush-on varnish that's put out by Chromia. It's called Josanya. That's my go-to that's the good varnish. And it's a brush-on. And sometimes I might do a piece, when I do cake plates and things that are going to be used, and I will put 15, 20 coats of varnish on them. If I do a glass cake plate and I want it to be, but I don't ever guarantee, I don't ever tell anybody anything's food safe, because I would never stand behind a varnish and tell somebody that is really food safe and take a chance on that. So I always tell them I would, preferably for me, I would put a plate, on that before using it for food. Get you a clear plate if you want to see your design under there. So if I can get this done, we'll put a coat of varnish on it, and then I'm going to put some bling around the whole thing, some beads. This goes pretty fast. We've got plenty of time. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, girls. I've got about 4 or 5 designs of different little kids on them on the page. In my Etsy shop, you'll find different. I made about 4 or 5. I've made about 20, probably 20 new Valentine designs for this year. And some have gnomes in them. Some have these kids. I've used these different things with the children in them. Some with cupids or angels in them. So there's quite a few in there, really good Valentine things. Okay, well that's pretty. See, got that done now. Now, I think I will go ahead and dry it real quick. Use my sprayer. Is it for sale? Yes, Phyllis, this piece will be for sale. Message me after we're done, and I'll give you a price on it. Everything I do is for sale, girls. Just send me a message, remind me, and I will give you a price on it when we're finished with it. Okay? So I'm going to take my dryer now. Use my dryer over here, and I'm going to dry it. I'm going to try to dry it so I can put some varnish on it and finish it. I got it. Now I'm going to find my varnish over here. This is what I use, girls. This is called Josanya. Josanya is a decorative artist from way back. She was, when I first started painting in the 70s, she was already a well-known artist, decorative artist for toll painting. And I traveled to California one time and visited her shop. But this varnish is done by her name. It's not her product. It's made by Chroma, C-H-R-O-M-A. And I buy it from decoupage.com. You can also find it on Amazon. It runs about $8 to $10 a bottle, but it's perfect for so many things. And it's water-based, and I use the gloss, and I use the matte finish, or the satin. So this one I'm going to put the gloss on. And I use these little old cheapy cups from the dollar store, Dollar Tree. Put me a little varnish out in that. And then the brush that I use for varnish, I keep it. And you remember Josanya, yes. I'm not sure if she's still living or not, but her son is a painter too. But I visited her shop years ago. We was traveling in California and went to visit my aunt. And I told Peggy, I said, I want to go up to her shop. So we went up to Northern California, almost to Oregon, and visited her shop. Well, we had drove up that day, and she was selling some of her finished pieces, and she had a rocking chair that my aunt loved, and it was for sale, and it was one she had done for a sample in one of her books. And Peggy bought that rocking chair. My aunt bought that rocking chair from her. I don't remember what it is, but I told Peggy, I said, when you die, I want that rocking chair. And she's still living. And that was in I think it was 90 or 91 we went out there. And she bought that. And I said, Peggy, when you die and leave a will, be sure you leave me that rocking chair. I don't know now if she still has it or not. Okay, I'm going to take this on just a brush, and I'm going to brush a coat of varnish on there. But her painting was, beautiful. She has a few other products I use. She has stuff like, a lot of people use Slick Stick, and she makes one that's called, I forgot what it's called. Let me see if I've got it here. It's a stuff to cover with, I believe this is it, all-purpose sealer. She makes a really good all-purpose sealer that's used like Slick Stick. If you need to put it on something before you paint it, then her product is really good for that too. Dick Blick online is a good place to buy paint supplies. When I order stuff, like when I order her varnish, I buy a case at a time. So, like that, like I said, they sell a lot of good products. If you've not visited their website, they have a lot of art products. Now, normally I would put 2 or 3 coats on this, but I'm just going to put this one on real quick and dry it so I can put the beads on. We've got time to put beads, put some bling on it, and I want you to see that. So I'm going to see, I've got 1 coat on it, and you can kind of see the shine. See how pretty that shine is on there? So I'm going to go ahead and hit the dryer. This is water-based stuff, but the brush I use for varnish, I don't use it for anything else. I never pick up a brush I've painted with and put it in my varnish. I just keep it, keep a special brush for varnishing. And I take it to the kitchen sink and put a little bit of detergent in my hand, dish detergent, and work it real good in that brush to get that out, because it will dry up in your brush. So I'm going to put it over here in my water, and I'm going to go back to my dryer, and I'm going to dry this again. Oh, Lord, girls, it's time for me. I'm not going to have time to do that. My time's up. I was thinking I had till 4:15, but I'm not. I'm out of here. I hope you've enjoyed it, girls. I'll finish it and post a picture. I was thinking I had till 4:15, and I don't. So I'm out of here. The next person is waiting to come in. So I'm going to have to get out of here. I'm going to put some rope bling around all the way around this inside. So I'll post a picture and show it to you. But that gives you the gist. I may put some polka dots in this pink color there. But I've got to get out of here, girls. I appreciate all of you. and hope you come back over to my page, follow, and visit again. We'll be on there in a few days. Thanks, girls. I'm out of here. I'm sure Miss Tracy's telling me to move on. Bye-bye.